Here's a problem in activity-based costing. Now this is for a service company. And this is a law firm, Smith & Jones, that serves both individuals and corporations. However, a controversy has developed between the partners of the two service lines. Those who are contributing the greatest amount to the profit, the bottom line. The area of contention is the assignment of overhead. Overhead's always a problem. The individual partners argue that assigning overhead on the basis of 30% of direct labor hours, that's their allocation base, while the corporate partners argue that implementing activity-based costing would be a better way of analyzing and comparing the cost between the individual and the corporate entities of this business. So here they look at the following data is collected to develop the comparison. Now they have activity cost pools. They've determined the drivers, the estimated overhead, expected use of the cost drivers, and the breakdown between the corporate and individual. So you see the pools are employee training, typing and security, secretarial forms, computing, facility rental, and travel. Cost drivers, direct labor dollars, number of reports, number of minutes, number of employees, per expense reports, and so on. You have the estimated for the coming year total overhead and the estimated use of the cost drivers on each one and the breakdown. You are instructed, using the traditional product costing method, compute the total overhead costs assigned to both the services, that is the individual and corporate of Smith & Jones, and use an activity-based costing to prepare a schedule showing the computations of the ABC overhead rate, and then apply those overhead rates back to the products and assign them to each service. Now you can pause here and do the problem on your own. Now we begin. First of all, let's do it the traditional way. That is the predetermined overhead rate, which is 30% times the direct labor dollars. And the amount assigned to a corporate is 30% of 900 or 270, and to the individual 30% of 700, which is 210. Now, the second part, or B, is a computation of the activity-based overhead rates. First, we have to get the rates. Now we have the pools, the 5 pools. We have the estimated overhead that was given in the question for employee training, typing, computing, facility rental, and travel. Now we also have the total amount of expected use of the cost driver. And that is they're going to use total 1,600,000 direct labor dollars, 2,000 reports, 40,000 minutes, 25 employees, and the travel is direct. So it's direct to each one of those services. So simply put, we divide the estimated overhead by the estimated use of the cost drivers, and we get the activity-based overhead rates. 75 cents for every direct labor dollar, 30 cents for every report, $3.25 per minute, 4,000 per employee, and so on. Now we assign it back, first to corporate. Expected use of the driver, 900,000 direct labor dollars, 500 hours of typing, and so on. Therefore, we multiply the expected use of the driver times the overhead rate, and in that way we assign the indirect costs mostly to the corporate. The only one direct is travel. And we get the total amount assigned of $241,750. Now we do the same, exactly the same, but with the individual part of the business. Same cost pools, but the different expected use of the driver, but the same overhead rates. And we multiply that through to assign the costs to this division of the law firm, the individual's division. And in this way, we get a total cost, $238,250. Now you see they're fairly close, $240 and $240. But when we compare it to what we did with the traditional way, you could see that traditionally we allocated $270 to corporate, whereas to be fair, it should have been $241. And we allocated $210 to individual, and to be fair, they have more costs associated with their activities than corporate does. It's basically equal, 241,750, 238, 250. But this is an example of how we use activity-based costing to cost out the activities carried out in two different departmental areas of a service company.